and the purpose of the meeting is to continue deliberations on the Adams Court Property Owner LLC application for an affordable housing project that in East Milton Square. My name is John Leonard, the Chairman of the Board of Appeals. With me is Board of Appeals member Jeff Mullen and Nick Gray, and Judy Barrett from, I'll call it Judy Barrett Associates et al., our consultant and fearless leader in this process of 40B. So Jeffrey, thank you very, very much for doing, having your staff create this consolidated agreement. This is, it's been very, very helpful, and appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Yeah, no, thank you. If
No problem.
I'm sure it was no problem. We have more staff and secretaries and administrative assistants.
Overhead, John, it's overhead.
It is overhead, known to man, but we have a shout out to Foley Hoag and for Jeff
Doesn't sound like a shout out.
for helping us out. So I guess you tell me, we have a 45 or 46 page document here for discussion purposes.
John, let me give you a recommendation. So
Sure.
this morning we got some, Nick took the time to incorporate the edits that we received from the building inspector. So thank you. I have the clean document on my screen. I don't have a red line handy, but what I think might be helpful is if somebody agrees to take the lead on walking us through the red line, and we can focus on the language that's been changed. Because I think that represents the vast majority or all of the comments that the board has recommended. And then Judy could guide us through that as well. When I was editing this, I did put footnotes in noting the major comments, but those might not be the exclusive comments. So that might be an organizing principle. And then what I could do with the board's approval is I could just keep up, and then I could turn this again.
So are you going to screen share it, Jeff? I mean, how are we?
No, I can't do that from here, Judy.
Oh,
You know,
do
I'm kind of, I'm a little bit technologically compromised. I got 3 computers going, but none of them are really doing what I want to do.
I understand.
Yeah.
So did you I'm sorry, I'm also technologically challenged this morning.
Yeah.
Did you send the version that had been typed up with all the changes? Okay.
Yeah. I sent that on Monday. I think Monday night, or I don't know, Tuesday night. I sent a PDF red line of that.
Okay, I'm just.
I think that's the best document to use, only because that shows all the changes.
Hold on, I will find it.
Is that your March 22nd draft, Jeff?
Yes, John. Well, wait a minute.
No.
No. It's April
April.
6th. April 6th.
Okay, I've got April 6th, but it's not.
Yeah, there's a PDF, John.
Okay.
There was a PDF with the edits.
I have it printed out.
Judy, do you happen to have that?
I'm just trying to find it, Jeff. Sorry. It's
No, it's okay. I sent it on Wednesday night,
yeah, I'll find it. It's here somewhere.
April 6th, 6:19 p.m.
Yeah. God, I wish I were in my office.
Where are you?
I'm
Don't
home.
answer that, Judy. Don't answer that.
No, I'm home, and it's just having some issues with my computer this morning. It's just me.
Well,
Okay. I think I have it. So do you want us to look at the red line, Jeff?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. I'll get there. Okey doke.
Judy, are you able to share on your tablet?
So
Or no? I have it open if you want me to, if you want me to share my screen.
it might be a good idea if you did, Crystal. I'm actually on two things right now. I have you guys on my iPad and I'm looking at Jeff's red line on my laptop. And you don't want to know why I'm using two because it's too long to explain.
Okay, let me share and see if we're, if this is the correct one. I believe it's from Wednesday night.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay,
So maybe we can just follow screen share then?
That'd be great. Yeah, I think that's right.
That's
that's
super.
fine.
Thank you.
no problem. You just have to guide me. I don't, where, do you want to start right here or?
John, want to follow your lead or no?
No, you lead. I'm hopeless here.
I think
Okay.
that I think that we've incorporated the nominal applicant. Just keep moving, Crystal, language that John requested. I think that works. I understand that, you know, that the organization doesn't exist, and I understand that it happens frequently. So, but I think this addresses it. Nick, go ahead.
No, I don't have anything else to say on that. I agree with that approach. I think it needs to be noted that it's not in effect, that the precise one isn't formed. There is one with a similar name out there, Adams Court Manager LLC, that I found this morning, but I'm not sure if that's the intended organization or yet another one.
Yeah, I agree.
I think it's another one, Nick. I think even though it's a Corcoran company,
Well, it was the Adams Court that made me wonder, but
Right. Yeah.
you know,
I don't blame-
I don't know. So I think calling it nominal and noting it in the decision that the entity apparently has not yet been formed is a good way to proceed.
So I added paragraph 7, just for a little bit more context, consistent with paragraph 8, which is John's idea that came after he had submitted his comments. This was an email that he sent suggesting that we reference the vision plan, which of course was introduced as evidence at the beginning of the hearing, and I do think provides some context for the board's evaluation. So that's what paragraph 8 is about.
Could I mention that in that paragraph, Jeff, 8, in the quotation form from the whatever that is, the
Vision
1500
plan.
Yeah, the second paragraph that begins the cost of land and the cost of construction, I think there's a word missing in the next sentence.
Oh, okay.
The result is that generally taller buildings are required projects to be economically viable.
Yeah,
Well,
I think that's in the original though. I mean, I could.
It's okay, that's fine. It probably is. It sounds like it's
Yeah.
missing. What about the next sentence? Though projects vary, it is buildings are quite often in the 4 to 6.
Yeah, I think that might be the same.
Is it also in the
struggle with it.
original?
I'm gonna verify it, but
Okay,
I think it's a direct quote.
fine. Then
I'll note it.
Then I don't have any change if it's a direct quote.
Yeah,
I am not sure.
I can check it, Judy. Go ahead, Crystal. Hang on a second. Yeah, so we added some language here just for context, recognizing Jennifer Corcoran's role, et cetera. So now I should also note that I need to go through this and just make some of these terms consistent, but you can keep going, Crystal. Thank you. Please stop any of the members if you've got questions on any of this. Some of this language, Judy had refined it to be, I think, more consistent with urban planning principles and things like that. So sometimes it's not verbatim the way the board members have requested, but I think in every instance it's consistent with the intent. Hang on here now. Oh, yeah. So I think this edit really is largely the result of some language that got picked up off of the Blue Hills Parkway. I'm sorry, the Blue Hill Avenue decision. And it's just been expanded to update people and readers of the progress that the Board of Appeals is making with respect to the 40Bs. So that's what's going on in those 3 paragraphs that Crystal's showing now.
I think that's fine.
Okay, I don't have any problem with that.
Yeah, go ahead, Crystal. Okay, so this is a language, this is mostly from John, about a little bit of a context about the makeup of the applicant, quote unquote. I like it. I think it offers the reader some context, but obviously, Nick or John or Judy, if you have anything to say now would be the time.
I don't have any problem with it.
Okay,
I agree that it provides context.
John?
No, I'm fine with it. If it's too long, it probably could be shortened, but I don't know. So
No,
this whole process, this whole decision is so long and complicated. You have to be in Judy Barrett land to understand this. When I get to page 48, I don't remember what was on page 10. So this is fine with me.
on paragraph 28, I highlighted the word general. I don't actually know what general compliance is. I think it's either compliance or non-compliance. The question I had for the board is whether or not that's what Reardon's letter said. Because if it said that, then I think we should write that word. If it doesn't say that,
He inserted that word.
yeah,
I agree with Judy that he did insert that word.
He reviewed this decision early on and added that word.
okay.
Would substantial compliance be a more appropriate term? I mean, I don't want to change his wording, but
I don't want to change his words either.
yeah,
I think what
okay.
I'm trying to say here is that generally it gets there if the conditions include the recommended conditions to fix what's not fixed yet.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think leave it as it is. I wouldn't change it.
All right.
On the next paragraph, though, 29, I just get one small suggestion.
All right, hang on a second, John, if you don't mind. Just wait, just let me catch up here. Okay, 29, yeah.
I'd just like to put AIA after Cliff Ballmer's name, because he is a member of the,
American Institute of Architects. Yeah.
and he deserves his due. He did a great job on this application.
He
Okay.
always does. He's so good.
Yeah, he's got a lot, he's got great balance, I think, in open
Yep.
court.
Agreed.
I'll keep going, Crystal. We'll tell you I like the pace, though. That's good.
Yeah.
Thank you for,
Only 43 pages
yeah,
left to
hang
go.
on, hang on, hang on.
Onward, keep cranking.
hang on there. Can I ask the board its pleasure on what you want to call this? At various times, the document is called a comprehensive permit, and sometimes it's called a decision. It's actually both, right? It's decision of the
is.
board issuing the comprehensive permit. So
That's correct.
both terms can be used, and I can be careful to use them consistently. I might get it wrong, but I didn't know if the board had a pleasure on that.
I have no pleasure except be consistent.
Okay.
Agreed.
Can we hold the screen just for 1 second? I don't want the Abbey Park folks to get mad at us, but in the middle of that paragraph 40,
Yeah.
it reads both Abbey Park and Navarro restaurants. It's really Navara.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't
That's
know
my
that.
bad. It's NAVARA, right?
Yeah, and see, it's
It's right
down,
later
it's
in
down 2 lines, it's correct.
Yeah. I missed that in the
Right.
spell check. Sorry.
And yeah, the rest of it, it seems to have picked it up.
Okay. we should make a note. I mean, I didn't
I'm
hear
sorry,
from Tim. Didn't hear from Tim Zawinski on this point. I'm assuming he's read this. But this does require a little bit of, not necessarily this paragraph, but the later paragraph that we do put in there. It's requiring that the town work with the applicant. I mean, I understand there's a best effort standard, but there's definitely some more work to be done on that issue, you know?
No, I agree. But let me stay with this paragraph 40. Down in the middle of it. My memory may be lacking, but it says somewhere in there. Yeah, it's the first, on the Attorney Freeman noted that the Abbey Park business may have to close. Is that everyone's collective memory?
Yes, he did.
Yes,
Okay,
absolutely.
okay, because I don't, the interesting thing is on this whole parking issue, Abbey Park never said they were going to have to close, and Vance Welsh, whom I believe runs Abbey Park and runs Novara for the Falcone interests who own the land, and I'm not sure whether they own the restaurants as well. He never testified on these issues, and I thought that was kind of a curious situation. In fact, we have a universal lack of comment on this entire application from the business community. I assume they just fear that retribution will be taken by the East Milton folks if we allow this comprehensive permit. But okay, if Peter suggested that Abbey Park may have to close, that's fine.
That's what he said. You
Okay.
were not happy about it either.
Yeah,
I'm
but
You have amnesia. I think you have amnesia about that night, John. You were
I-
not,
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Did you get the Navarro in the unchanged portion of paragraph 40? Did you get the 2 instances of Navarro corrected to Navara?
I'm on it. I am so on that, Nick.
Yeah, I'm just making sure. I just noticed that
I got-
myself.
I got it. Novara.
You're awesome.
It's a good place too. I should get that right. I'm
Yes.
sorry.
No lunch for you.
I know. I'll spell check this too, so I won't get that wrong again. Sorry about that.
It's okay.
Okay. 40 is good?
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay. Okay, let's hold up there. Oh yeah, okay. I think this might be these might be my additions, just, I don't know if they're if everybody's okay.
I like them.
Okay,
I'm in agreement.
okay. Go ahead, Crystal. Wait, hey, hang on here. Yeah, John, this is your work. Judy, are you okay with it?
I'm reading it. Yeah, I am okay with this.
Judy, I think you have your thumb on your, yeah, on your
Sorry.
camera. Maybe you want it on your, I mean, it's fine, but
No, you know what? It's just, I'm not used to using this iPad. I'm probably gonna sign off and join from my laptop now that it seems to be charged up again. Because this is driving me crazy. So I'm gonna
Okay.
disappear for a second, guys, and come right back.
okay, we're gonna continue, okay?
Oh, of course, absolutely.
Is everybody okay with the new paragraph 55? Is it 50? I'm sorry, 53? Okay, thank you, John, for that.
Okay,
Oh, yeah, John,
Yeah.
did you see footnote 5?
no,
Crystal, it's
I
at the
may
bottom.
have seen it. I don't see it now.
It should be in the PDF. At the bottom of the page,
It's on the
Crystal,
bottom of that page, 14.
the other way.
There you go.
Yeah, see, I dropped that language.
Yeah, that's fine. I don't have any problem with that.
Okay. I think this is from Nick.
I just incorporated what John had written in his handwritten.
Oh, I
previous,
see.
Right?
Okay. Great.
And I suppose we're locked into those numbers. Based on our prior discussions,
Yes.
I think we are too.
because of the evidence.
Well, that's right. And unfortunately,
I agree. I just want to get it on the record.
Let's take a look at paragraph 7, John. I just want to call that out only, footnote 7, only because you had added that, but there's another condition in there that requires that they become a limited dividend corporation. So I kept the other language and didn't adopt this.
okay, that's fine.
Okay. I don't think it changes the intent.
I don't either.
Okay. You can go ahead, Crystal. Now, universally, I consistent with the building inspector's request, I made these review periods 60 days.
Yep.
Okay, hold there. Yeah, okay. So I added this. Just pause there so that everybody can read and understand that. I observed in Central Avenue that the business communities was suffering during the construction of the Hendry's project by virtue of the fact that the parking spaces that were available in the square, the Central Avenue area, were all taken up in the morning by the contractors.
Yep.
So the CMP is going to have some type of off-site parking arrangement. And I think this is really important for the square. This would only be during the construction period, but I don't know that we talked about it much during the hearing, but I think it's a reasonable condition.
Well, there certainly was a numerous community input on this very issue.
Okay.
And in my recollection anyway, and I think that this condition or requirement is definitely a good idea. Because
I'm sorry, go ahead, Nick, finish it off.
No, I'm done.
No, I think it's a good idea, and it's an idea that we've used in the town. Take Milton Hospital. They're using portions of the.
Yes, that's right.
That is absolutely true.
And they shuttle their workforce back and forth, so there are additional parking spaces for the patients. So I think we've used it in the past. I think it's an excellent addition to the decision.
It's a great idea. You guys should just know that the same condition was imposed on a comprehensive permit in Wellesley, and the applicant appealed and the HAC threw it out.
That's rough. Oh, you gotta
I
say
know,
that's
it's wild.
rough too,
Yeah.
I know, I get it. I'm not arguing with you. I'm just telling you.
Well,
I know you're not.
Insanity that goes on.
But in the world of local concerns,
Yep,
okay, enough said.
I don't disagree with you at all.
And I don't think the applicant's going to disagree either. I'd be shocked if they did.
Okay, paragraph, Crystal, maybe, yeah, I think, so Nick has incorporated some new language here.
Mhm.
Nick, what did you do? Did the building inspector consolidate the bonding paragraphs into one?
Yeah, I'm trying to, are you looking at the most?
I got your document up, which is down. It's you put in a new.
Yeah, so I have his email in front of me.
Yeah.
He revised, this is the part that we're talking about. He revised section Yeah. In C, submission requirements,
Mhm.
paragraph 1.1.h, he add the word deliver. Where is this? I'm
He
sorry.
added upon request of the DPW director or the building commissioner,
Yeah,
which
that's right. But
actually I think is the building inspector. I think we decided in another hearing to call it the building inspector.
okay.
Yeah, we did.
And then the major change comes in C1I with a long not a long, but in an introductory language that sort of incorporates all of the bond language.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to, because I'm looking at your red line, Jeff, not my,
Yeah, I have it, Nick. I'll read it. Post a bond. I'm going to add or other
It's-
security to ensure the streets and related infrastructure, including but not limited to water, sewer, other utilities, lighting, drainage, sidewalks, paving, hydrants, landscaping, and traffic signage are completed in accordance with the approved plans and other laws and regulations to allow the town and its various departments to secure portions of the project in the event of abandonment of the project by the developer or the occurrence of a significant accident, disaster, or storm-related emergency. Such terms within this bond shall be first approved by the town council.
all right. Now, I thought I was, that language replaced the first sentence of the red line version of I.
That's what you've done, yeah.
Yeah, and because I wasn't sure if he intended to replace the entire paragraph. So the last sentence of I in there, which says upon permanent stabilization of all surfaces and installation and the town's acceptance of all drainage infrastructure, the applicant may submit a request to the
Yeah.
board for release of the surety. So I figured that Joe intended to leave that sentence in, but I'm not sure.
I think that's probably right. Well,
Okay.
you know what we'll do? When I turn this back to you guys, everybody can take a look at it and you can satisfy yourself, but I think you're right.
Okay.
Could I ask one question? And that is, I don't disagree with the intent of the language, but my question is a practical one. The commissioner sounds like this is one bond. I'm not a bonding specialist, but this is bonding everything in creation.
Yeah.
I wonder whether this is 10 bonds and
Might be.
whether that's an issue here.
Yeah, it is. I'm gonna edit it so that it could be multiple forms of security or other collateral.
Yeah, I can't imagine one company wanting to undertake that type of a bond. And this broad, I think.
Post a
But
bond or bond.
I don't doubt it should be bonded, but it's
Yeah.
maybe a series of bonds.
Okay.
Or just say post bond and take out the
I know.
You can do that too.
um,
Okay.
So I'm fine with the languages as amended by the building, by Joe. I don't know if he's the commissioner, the inspector, or
He's the inspector. I mean, he is the commissioner, but there was a reason in Blue Hill Avenue, we changed it to inspector because it was thought to be capturing more than one person. I mean, in other words, there could be an inspector on this project who's not the commissioner, although it could be the commissioner. That's basically
I
what
understand.
happened.
Okay,
Go ahead, Crystal.
all right, so then let's
Oh,
stop.
wait a minute now. Wait a minute. This is something that Judy and I debated in the other hearing, and that is this comprehensive permit status report, which ultimately we included in Blue Hill Avenue, with the idea being there'll be a status report on the status of this comprehensive permit. I know it creates work for the applicant, but I'm concerned about work for the town in administering these permits, given their complexity. So I incorporated that concept in here.
Well, Jesse didn't appeal it, so as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, what I see, Jody, I mean, I don't know, you're a student of this, it's a compounding issue for, like Tim, at some point, town's gonna have to staff up to run this program, I think, but and we'll have to see. I don't know. It's fair bit of work though, I think.
Well, as long as Tim and the building inspector are the ones who sort of sculpt how much information they need, I don't think it's a problem because
Yeah, I'm totally
frankly,
with you.
I think they feel like, you know, I mean, Tim especially has permitted some pretty large projects, so I don't think he's worried about managing the permitting process, but it's fine. Jesse didn't complain. If it makes the board feel better about some
Does.
assurances that the staff will be protected, I think it's fine.
It does.
That's fine.
I don't know about the board. It makes me feel better.
Well, look, I don't have any great insights on this. I do think that this whole process is so detailed and refined and comprehensive, and that I wish there were a simpler way to do it.
Well, there would be if you got better plans.
Yeah.
Agree with that.
That's the problem, you know.
Yeah.
The applicant and the board are operating kind of up here when the plans need to be here. And so, you know, don't be surprised if one or more of these projects comes back to you for a permit modification.
Yeah. Yeah.
It happens
It's a
all
little
the
bit of a
time.
chicken and an egg problem, right? You know, you've got an
Yep.
investment issue. I mean, some of what Judy is saying, I feel is it's a seminar that Mass Housing will have someday at which Judy will appear and will say that. So there are things that the board can't really solve.
Right,
But, you know, this is the situation that you're in, so.
right.
Right, but the practical problem is that we have difficulty processing normal applications. And this is only one of what 5 or 6 projects that are ongoing. And
Yep.
if all of these applications are constantly submitting on a regular basis status reports and other things, it's just it's beyond the call of duty to expect normal human beings to do it unless Joe assigns this project to one of his building inspectors to keep track of it. But so you get the
Mhm.
likelihood of overwhelming the town officials and then having the developer say, well, I told you so. I submitted that in report number 22 on such and such a day.
Yeah.
We all look silly. So, but you're right, Jeff. This is it's something that would be helpful. It keeps you advised as to the status of the project, but it may very well require the building inspector to make designations of personnel to watch particular projects and to read these types of reports. Otherwise, you're going to have to increase the staff. And I can't imagine, and I'm not a builder by trade, and I don't represent contractors and developers, but just trying to staff the supervision and review of the actual progress of these projects, which may be proceeding simultaneously at some point in time, is just an enormous endeavor. And
Right.
Judy and Tim is particularly good at this, and they're just going to have to put their heads together and deal with the Board of Selectmen or select persons, excuse me, to make sure that the building department isn't overwhelmed or grossly understaffed.
Right.
So,
True.
Okay,
Okay.
can we, Crystal, you can keep scrolling. Just hold a sec. To go down a little bit. Let's see what that was. Oh yeah, that's just some line editing. Hold on. Oh, okay. Yeah, some of these are edits from the building commissioner, a building inspector, about just off of the whatever. I mean, I think these are all what I've done is incorporated the notion of applicable law here, which will capture everything. You know, I mean, that's a defined term. So,
Yeah, I agree.
I think that's more. This is more of that. Those kinds of edits. The same thing. These are from the building inspector. Oh, yeah, okay, so there's an issue here, footnote 13, so Judy, you may have an issue with this, so you may have some advice for the board. I don't think there was enough testimony about the extent of the public ways that were going to be needed to be used. I know it came up, and I know it's a concern. So I wrote that it shall be subject to the approval of the appropriate office of the town with jurisdiction, and I think there's an issue there with respect to whether or not that's a discretionary permit. So you can see that in footnote I don't know if it's 12 or 13. It might be 13 on your draft, yeah. So I just want to make sure the board is aware of what's going on there and invite Judy to say, offer some advice.
Muted.
Sorry, Nick.
Okay.
Who would be the appropriate town office?
It's probably like the DPW director, whoever is issuing the street occupancy permit, Judy,
That's kind of what I thought. So why don't we just say the DPW director?
I just didn't know that it was the DP, that's all, and what I'm concerned about is that, you think about the volume of traffic in the AM peak northbound on Granite Ave, it's just enormous,
Yeah, I know. I know. I've
And,
been
and I think unique, obviously there's heavy traffic on the Newton frontage roads on the turnpike too, but it's kind of like that, just the volumes are so high. And I'm thinking, Bassett Street, let's say Bassett Street's closed for a crane pick. That's gonna be a big deal, and that's gonna be something they're gonna have to run a detour. Who knows what that's gonna look like, So that's what I'm saying.
So, I mean, it just can't be discretionary is all.
Well, could
It has
we?
to be a yes or a no. It has to be, it has to be something that, subject to certain standards that one can find, I can get this approval, because it can't be something that has to come back to the board or go to the
Yeah.
select board or anybody like that.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm not asking for that at all. I don't think
Yeah.
the board, I just think that the town is gonna need more information about the use of its public ways before it has to approve a street occupancy permit, is
Yeah.
what this is supposed to say.
And I think that's really smart. What I'm wondering is, should we run this by Tim and the DPW director on Monday and just get their input on whether we can be a little bit more specific as to where that approval comes from?
Yeah, helpful. That's always good info. That's always good. Tim, absolutely. Yes. The answer is yes.
Okay.
Maybe Judy, if you wouldn't mind, just, you can let him, if you wouldn't
Yeah.
mind calling him, let him know we had this conversation and
Oh,
you
yeah.
can share that with him. But
That's
he's got
fine.
this, so
Yeah.
obviously his comments are welcome.
Yep. No, I will check in with him Monday morning.
Okay. Go ahead, Crystal. I think this is all consistent with that.
Mm-hmm.
The building inspector had a comment about snow, which I've incorporated.
Mm-hmm.
Some of this came out because it was redundant in E5.
Yeah.
All right, so this is the issue about Abbey Park, and I see it says Navarro still, it should say Navarro, I understand.
Yeah.
I don't know how that happened. I thought I fixed that, so I got it. Okay. Go ahead, Crystal. Yeah. All right, hold off on this. All right, so this is a series of comments about the parking.
Mm-hmm.
To me, the biggest issue with the parking is the limited amount of guest parking that's available. And the reason why I think that's a big issue is it seems to me that the guests are going to be competing with the neighbors for the limited on-street resource. More so than the owners, because the owners will have, to the extent they have parking, they have a dedicated space. And we don't have on-street overnight parking. So the idea behind this whole regime is to try to maximize the amount of guest parking to the maximum extent we can. And Judy, I know you might have I think you might have a concern with the way that this is being implemented, but you know, the first is that they have to develop a program to reduce the need for parking by occupancy and guests. That's kind of a demand issue to the maximum practicable, and cooperate with the planning director. I think that's kind of a soft requirement consistent with the TDM program that they've proposed. But the reason why I think the paragraph might be important is it articulates an objective. This is what we're speaking about, and this is why it matters to the town. The second, F4, is about the limiting the numbers of parking spaces which the residents are offering. Because, you know, to the extent that we're going to try to drive demand down, you don't want that demand to be gobbled up by other unit owners. So that's a limit. And then the F5 is about trying to articulate a regime where the parking is not free. You can opt out of parking. So and Judy, you had a comment on this.
Yeah, this will absolutely not, this is non-jurisdictional. The board
But why?
cannot,
Why do you say that?
because the Amesbury decision really separated out what the local board can control and what the housing subsidizing agency can control. And anything to do with pricing, anything that has to do with how revenue is structured for the project is not, the board can't touch that. And so I guarantee you this is a problem. I think there's nothing wrong with F3. I think that's fine, but F5 is a problem.
Yeah, but why not? Why do we have to give away parking? It's the number one
This is
issue.
about the project and what they're charging for.
No, it's not. It's about the way they structure their charge. It's not about
But
how much they
I'm telling
charge.
you, that's non-jurisdictional. Anything to do with the way they operate this project financially is not within the board's jurisdiction. I'm sorry, I don't mean, I don't want to argue anymore about it. I'm just giving you advice.
No, I understand. And I'd like to, I mean, my advice is to die on this hill. I mean, I'm just gonna push back. I mean, I understand what you're saying, and I didn't read the Amesbury case, maybe I should. But the fact is they're about to set up a regime that's giving away parking, which is the number one issue in this project. And there is gonna be nobody who's gonna opt out of the parking if it's provided for free. You know, I mean,
All I
I
can
would
do
do
is
that.
advise you
If I
not
get
to.
a unit, the unit comes with a parking space. I'm not gonna say, oh, I don't take that unit. I don't think I'm going to, but I might if I get to save $100 a month, you know?
The second problem you have with this is the law is very clear that you can't impose requirements on a comprehensive permit project that are not imposed on other projects. So you have activity in East Milton now that has generated a parking demand that it can't meet. So I don't know how you do this.
How many units, how many 92 unit buildings are in East Milton Square?
I'm not going to be able to convince you. I'm just telling you that this is a problem. I can't do any more than that. I'm just telling you this is a problem.
Judy, did you have a sense that that the applicant would entertain some type of program as Jeff is suggesting here?
They might, I don't know. I've not had that conversation with them. I don't know.
They seem to show some flexibility in this area from my perspective. Whether they'd go this far, I don't know. Doesn't
Do
it?
you want me to run this by Peter Freeman and find out?
I'd have no problem with that if it would help, or he had some modification that would make it acceptable to him. I don't know. He sends his best regards to you, by the way, and apologizes for not returning your call. He said he was
He's
over.
busy. I
Yeah,
know
he-
he's busy. It's crazy, John, right now. It's just nuts for all of us. How
But
about if I
that-
take
yeah.
these two? I'm sorry, I interrupted
Sorry,
you.
Jeff, does that make any sense to you that Judy broach this with Mr. Freeman and see if either this or some reasonable modification of this be acceptable, and we can kind of avoid the issue and perhaps get more bang for the buck without you having to die on the tombstone hill or something.
It's the bunker.
The
Bunker.
bunker,
Look,
the bunker
you know,
mentality. Not the Archie bunker, but the bunker.
Yeah, Bunker Hill.
Jeffrey,
I
go ahead.
just think that, yes, I think that's good. I want to be responsive to what was the overwhelming issue here. And if we can't do things like this, then I don't know, the program is it's just not responsive to what the concerns are. I actually don't think this is offensive either. That's the other thing. This is not taking dollars out of the applicant's pocket at all. This is just structuring it in a way that is designed to address and incent people to limit the demand for parking, which is a huge objective of the town. So that's where I'm coming from. The last thing I want to do is have this application fail after all the time we've put into it and the need for housing. We want them to succeed. So
I'm just pointing out that,
no, I get
there's
it,
a
Judy.
restaurant across the street that, but for access to parking on this lot, would not have been able to be permitted. And so there is activity in East Milton now that has a demand, according to the town's parking standards, more demand than it can provide on site. And somehow the town has kind of worked it out so that they could do what they're doing. And so now I think this is saying, well, now all of a sudden we have this project and they're creating a parking demand. They're going to have to figure out how to mitigate this. But other people have been allowed to just go ahead and open a business or whatever and park their cars on somebody else's property. I mean, I just.
No, I get that, but we also don't need to
project differently.
we don't need to take a snapshot in time and freeze it forever. This is a very dynamic situation. And, if anyone were to talk about East Milton Square, I think the first thing they would talk about is congestion and parking. So this is responding to that.
I understand that.
I remember when Abbey Park went in there and, it seemed to me that parking was acute, but at that time, what people were really looking for is to activate Adams Street, to replace the retail store that was in there. So, please talk to him. And on 5, I'm sorry, on the
6.
next one, the MBTA, this is designed to incent people to use the T, but not waste the T.
Yeah.
So, I don't want to give people link passes, which have value of about $90 a month if they're not using them.
Right.
But again, I think that, I'm a broken record, I guess, but F3 and F5 kind of go together. Okay, I'm not going to take the parking space. I might take the bus pass. I don't know. I just feel like we got to lean in on this.
I think it's creative, and I think that Judy should talk with Mr. Freeman and he'll get the sense from his clients. I had an impression from the many hearings that Mr. Freeman liked the incentivization of the MBTA into this project and to try to absolve some of the parking issues. And I think it may meet with some degree of success. I think that should be part of Judy's commission.
I don't think they have a problem with, quote, trying, but I don't think they want the board intruding on what is a market decision from their point of view.
Who does?
Can I ask you one question that I'm uncertain of? We're probably talking here about parking in the evening, but it may be some daytime, but I think principally in the evening. Over at the Milton Marketplace, there's a designated set of spaces over there for people to use during the daytime if they're going to the gymnasium or they're going to the coffee shop.
Mhm.
I don't know how many spaces are over there, but do you have an idea, just based on reality, whether those spaces are generally available in the evenings or, 6 to 10 o'clock or 6 to 11, and what type of occupancy they have, and whether that.
I
would-
don't, John, I don't. I do think it trails off when the place is closed, of course, That's a good question for Tim. I don't know.
And do those parking spaces basically restricted to use by businesses in the square and would be off limits for residents of the or visitors to the particular project here?
I think it's a town lot if it's the one
Yeah.
you're talking about,
The
John.
town lot on Bassett, yeah.
I think it's available for whoever wants to use it for whatever purpose.
Yes,
Okay.
it is, yeah.
There's
I
no-
used to live there, right? You guys know that?
Yes,
do.
I do.
I lived at 21 Bassett Street, one of the houses in the site, yeah.
And I'm
So-
sure you're gonna be sad when it's torn down. Maybe you should recuse yourself, Jeffrey.
That was in
I
the
remember,
80s. Was it 40 years ago or 50 years ago?
no,
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 39 years ago.
it was not. All right, Judy.
Jeff, I like your language. I'd like to be able to keep it, and I'm happy to dig in on the top of the hill with you if you want to try to defend it.
I know.
I recall some, I may be wrong, but it sounded like the applicant or Mr. Freeman was not super opposed to this. I don't know, but I think it's good to keep in there, and let's see if we can get it through, because it is the most important local concern that we heard in the hearing.
Well, if they accept this, I quit because I don't know what I'm talking about.
You don't
I
have
think
to
at all.
quit.
I don't think that at all. I don't think,
They
don't-
certainly are free to accept it, whether or not it's in the board's jurisdiction, actually, right? So your advice still stands. It's just a choice, it's whether we could impose it on them if they didn't want it in there. That's, I think, where it's gonna come in.
And I think that they're liable to come back and say, well, we understand your viewpoint. We prefer that it not be in there. But I think they would appreciate the colloquy and the opportunity to be heard on.
No, I think it's fine. I can check with Peter. That's not a problem.
lean in, Judy, be an advocate. Be an advocate. I want to see passion in that call.
He said, no, he said dig in. He didn't say lead in. He said dig in, Judy, and be ready.
Well, what I was going to do, and I guess I should clear this with you guys, I was going to put these 2 paragraphs in an email to Peter so he could see them and ask him if he has a problem with them.
Fine.
Because I think it's a lot to read on the phone and expect somebody to follow it.
Oh, I agree with you. I agree.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, great. Thank
All
you.
right, and Crystal, keep going. Yeah, keep going. All right, hold on there. Yeah. F20.
The height of the trucks.
I love
Oh.
this.
How are we gonna resolve this one?
Oh, my God.
Well, let me tell you that I've been looking for an answer to this.
Yeah.
And the largest truck I've seen, what we're really talking about are the common trucks that we all see on our streets every day, which we know are going to be heavily used in a building like this.
Yes, they are.
And I think Nick in particular leaned in on this.
I did.
I've looked for the height of that UPS vehicle, which I think is the largest vehicle, at least the one that I've seen. And I can't verify, but I think it's 9 feet 8 inches. Well, I'm sorry, 8 feet 9 inches.
Why don't you flag the operator down today and run out there with a tape measure?
Why don't you just call them? Call UPS. They'll tell you what the height
Oh, I
is.
asked Sean. I think he knows.
Well, he wasn't able to tell us at the hearing, but he did recognize that it really isn't the rider truck. And
Yeah.
it's a moving issue, but the moves are gonna happen intermittently. Those
Right.
deliveries are all day, every day,
That's right, they are. Come to
So-
my house.
Yeah, no, I know. So anyway, this is about that. I think it could require that sidewalk to be dropped. So we could have a kind of a funny civil issue there. I don't know. But, and it might just be a matter of inches. I don't know. So my only point is, and maybe Judy, maybe Tim can help us on that too. I don't know
Yeah.
that that dimension is the right dimension.
Okay,
I actually don't think there's much more after that. Crystal, do you want to, thank you. Hang on. Oh, yeah, this is another thing that we focused on, these bollards. This also, by the
Yeah.
way, was in Denny Swenson's write-up. There was testimony there. I think the applicant was okay with this. I don't know if it will be bollards. It could be trees. It could be a bike rack, you know. There needs to be some type of barrier on Franklin.
yep,
A barrier sufficiently strong to prevent a truck from knocking it over.
Yeah. John, you asked for these landscaping. I did make these consistent with the language in the rest of the decision. But otherwise, I think I incorporated I know I incorporated all of these, except to the extent that they were redundant with other requirements that we already had.
Right, and these were submissions from the planning board, Denny Swenson and Meredith, and I thought they had a lot of
Yeah.
merit. Appreciate
Yeah.
their participation.
Yeah,
is any of this inconsistent with the landscaping plan such as it is?
I don't think so, Judy. It's a good question. I mean, maybe Sean could verify that for us, but it's all pretty general, you
Yeah.
know, especially given the state of the plans. Like, so for example, I don't think the drawings indicate whether or not they're sound absorbing materials, you know?
Yeah,
I think the only other issue for the board to speak to is the way that these local, the waivers are structured.
yeah,
I think they're too broad.
this is
Um,
really bad. This is the worst, honest to God, one of the worst
What do you
waiver
think
lists.
about the waivers, Judy? What do you
Huh?
think about, what do you think about the waivers?
I just think that's one of the worst waiver lists I've ever seen. I mean, in terms of just like the specificity of them,
Yeah,
you know, with 582 Blue Hill Ave and 648 Canton Ave, it was very clear. This is the provision, this is the standard, this is what we're proposing, this is the requested waiver. I mean, it was just all very clear. So you may not agree with the waiver request, but you understood the extent of the waiver and why. And you
Yeah.
could relate it to something on a plan. And this is just, it's embarrassing. I really am surprised.
Judy, I for one of the members, I'd appreciate your advice on how we could structure this. I've been toying with, you know, limiting them. You know, if you recall from Blue Hill Avenue, the board had been not interested in waiving things we didn't know we were waiving. We didn't know,
Right.
you need to know what you're waiving,
I know, right?
you know, as a principle. So that's part of the problem. And part of it is, I think we've been asked to waive things we don't have to waive. So,
I agree.
you know, maybe the real homework from this, you know, meeting, which I think has been terrific, by the way. I mean, I can edit this and get this back to people to look at. There's a couple of pieces of homework for Judy, but lastly, I mean, I think the biggest thing is how these waivers work out, and maybe maybe the thing to do is to make that the subject, the principal subject of the final, what
Yeah,
looks like it's probably going to be the final hearing. But Mr. Chair, I don't know what your thinking is on that.
No, I don't disagree with it. The waivers on the list here, not being an engineer, I think they've tried to simplify things. You know, in simplifying it, it's overly simplified and
yep, I agree.
unfortunately, but that doesn't mean that the applicant can't come back to us with a revised waiver list, which sets forth the waivers in a more
They can't do that now.
It can't, yeah, the hearing's closed.
Hearing's closed. They can't
well,
do
the
that now.
hearing's closed, but they've given us the waivers that they're looking for. You don't think we could take
No.
these waivers and adopt them any way we wanted? We're not.
Yeah, no, that's what we're gonna do.
But based on what's in the record now.
Well, these are in the record.
I understand, but I'm saying you can't get more information from the applicant now. The hearing is closed. You can't ask them for additional information.
What I think we need to do is to look at them, tailor them to be consistent with the balance of the testimony and the decision. That's our challenge.
Well, that would be
Recognizing-
great if you're an engineer. I'm not an engineer.
That's an issue.
I mean, why?
It's not too late, John. It's not too late if you want to do that, if you want to
No,
go
I'm
back.
not saying it's too late. All I'm saying is that if you can understand what the essence of the waiver is, isn't there? Isn't there somebody in the building inspector's office or in Tim's office who can put these requested waivers in some more intelligible?
I think we have to work with what we've got. I don't think
I
we
do
can take
too.
additional testimony, as much as helpful as that would be.
Yep.
I think we have to make our best guess at it and err on the side of the smallest, most restrictive waiver possible,
Yeah.
because we don't know what we're.
I agree, Nick. I mean, I
It's
think
the
that's the problem.
applicant's- It was the applicant's duty or
Yep.
burden to provide us with proper information to make a decision on the waiver. And if we're unable to, if we're not comfortable in granting a particular thing they're asking for, because we don't understand what they're asking for, then we can't grant it. And that's,
It's not, it's
It'll have
not,
to get worked out later.
Excuse me.
it's
Crystal,
not consistent with what I've seen from Peter Freeman in other cases. I'm just really
Yes.
surprised.
Crystal, would you
This
mind
probably
stop
didn't come
sharing?
from Peter Freeman, Judy. This
Pardon
probably
me?
did not come, these waivers probably did not come from Peter Freeman.
Yeah,
They
his are
take-
usually much more precise and well, fully developed waiver list.
Yeah, no, but, well, all I'm saying is we've spent an hour and a half here going through the decision. We've made a lot of progress. And the end result is if we have a set of incomprehensible waivers and we don't have the internal ability to revise them or to make them clearer or define them in a better way, then you're just blowing up the project. And
Well,
you-
let me talk to Tim.
what good
me
does
talk.
that do?
Let me talk to Tim.
Okay, yeah, I think that's step number one. Yeah,
I do agree with Nick, however. I mean, we shouldn't be trying to fix a problem that really was the applicant's burden to solve in the first place, but let me talk to Tim and see what we can do. I mean, I certainly don't want to ask town staff to take responsibility either for interpreting whatever the applicant did not explain. That's not their job.
right. If they don't like what we did, there's a process for dealing with that.
Yeah, there
I
is.
agree with that. I think that's your answer. That's part of your answer, Nick.
Yeah.
Well, where does
I
this
don't know
get
what
you?
else there is. We can't take additional, I'm sorry, John, we can't take additional testimony on it, as helpful as it would be. This could be solved with, just go back and give us a better list that's more detailed, but we can't ask that.
Unless they agree to reopen the hearing.
Yeah.
Well, they can seek a permit modification.
Well, but they'd have to not appeal the permit first.
Well, I get that, but I mean, to me, we're writing a permit that I don't want it to be appealed, so.
Yeah.
So the recommended remedy to here is as they develop their permit and they realize that the waivers may be different than what they asked for, they can seek a modification.
Well,
Let
I
me
think that's true. It may be an awkward way of doing it, but it may accomplish the legal objectives here because it's certainly not Tim's job to be writing comprehensible waivers that they didn't submit in the first instance.
Right.
On the other hand, you've got an applicant who's trying to be reasonable and cooperative. It's a terrible situation to find out that they're not able to proceed with the project because the waivers haven't been granted, or it's ambiguous as to what waivers have been granted, and it just seems like putting up a barrier to the project. And I know it's not our fault, but maybe Tim's skilled in this. Maybe he has some ideas that could be helped.
That's why I was going to talk to him. I mean, I got to
That's
talk to him
great.
anyway about some of this other stuff. So
I'm gonna run up against a little bit of a deadline here, folks. Nobody cares.
No, we
No, we
can't.
care. I
Election
think
deadline.
we've made the progress we can make. It sounds like to me, right?
Okay. So we each have, we have a little bit of homework, expect in the beginning part of this week to see another draft of this. I'll give some of the waivers some thought as well, and then Judy, I'm super interested in Tim's feedback, and then what else the applicant has thought about the way we want to approach the parking demand. So,
Okay.
Great.
All right.
all good? Are we good, John?
I think we're good. Now, what are we doing? Are we going over to the 21st? Is that what we're doing?
Oh,
Or are we
God.
going to some
Yeah,
other-
that's the next scheduled meeting is Thursday night, the 21st.
Oh, boy. I may have a problem. Oh, God. I hate town meeting season.
I gotta run, okay? I'll be wherever you guys want me to be.
No, I am on with you that night. I got it in my calendar.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so we're going over to the 21st at 7
Yes,
o'clock?
sir. Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Okay, thanks for all your help, guys.
Thank you all.
All right.
Thanks, guys. Have a great weekend.
Crystal,
Good
great
luck
to
with
see
it.
you. Bye now.
Bye-bye.
Yep, bye-bye.